What's going on, gamers? It's your boy Diggs Gaming. Welcome back to Off Hunting's Gaming News. Tonight, I am joined by...
It's KB.
And it's your boy, Meliodas.
What's going on, guys? How has it been?
Woo! I'm excited. I'm pumped.
For those of you that are not... we got both KB and Sir Meliodas flexing their arm, so this ought to be a fun one. First things first, update from Activision Blizzard. So Activision Blizzard did an internal investigation and they found no evidence that they ignored harassment. And who's buying that? Absolutely no one. No one.
Oh my God. We investigated ourselves and we didn't find anything wrong. What utter bullshit. Like, come on. No, like seriously, that's like punching yourself in the face, walking around with a black eye. And then when people ask you about it, you're like, what black eye? Like really? Like you've already been called out by the public for harassment. Like we know that there's something going on. You can't be like, well, we didn't see anything.
Activision.
Is that all you got, Meliodas?
That's all I can say about them, because what hasn't been said about them already. It's just
I know. This is just ridiculous. It really is. Like, this is off to a great start. Okay, so last week I talked about Starfield that was revealed during the Xbox Bethesda. My feelings are still the same. I feel like this game does have potential, but it still needs to be finished. There's a reason that they delayed it. And I don't know if this game is going to be as good as people want it to be. So I'm going to start with Meliodas on this one. So Meliodas, what were your impressions on Starfield?
No Man's Sky with realistic graphics. I don't know. I'm not playing it. I never planned on playing it. Hopefully those who do play it enjoy it. It's a no for me, Doug. Sorry.
KB, what was your impressions of it?
We were talking about this a little bit, but it was a very lackluster trailer. There wasn't a lot in it. There was like a barren planet, a large spaceship, an astronaut, and a robot, and then like a title screen that said that it's made by the people that made Skyrim and Fallout 4. Like that's the only good thing that you really showed off in that trailer that would make people want to play this game. Like in my opinion.
The only thing that's annoying me is that people are putting this on Microsoft. But folks, we have to remember that before Microsoft did the deal to where it was like, okay, let's just make Skyfield exclusive to Xbox. This game was in development way before Microsoft planned on buying them out for that. So stop putting it on Microsoft to say, oh, this game no, it's Bethesda.
Wasn't this announced before Fallout 76 even was released or something like that? Wasn't this announced before then?
I think it was announced during 76 release.
So
which was also a trash game, but no.
Yeah. Well, trash when it launched. It has gotten a lot better from what I hear, but and I've said this before, I'm going to say it again. If this game is not as good as what these fans want it to be, it's not a good look for the start of the Bethesda Xbox deal, because this is the first true game from that, because the other two that were released were both PlayStation exclusive.
True.
Which is still funny when you think about it. But in any case, yeah. Oh, and speaking of Todd Howard, who KB mentioned, the person that's making this game, he has confirmed that Fallout 5 is going to be coming out after Elder Scrolls 6, which is coming out after Starfield. So now we have a general idea of what's going on in the next few years for Bethesda, and I think we can all assume that Elder Scrolls 6 and Fallout 5 are going to be Xbox exclusive at this point. I think we can all assume that. But
yeah,
for those that are fans of the Fallout series, that's a good thing to hear, but it's going to be years before that game comes out. So it just hit pre-production. So just be patient on that one, is from what I would say.
We'll get Fallout 6 when they drop GTA 6. Rockstar.
Fallout 5.
Or whatever.
All right, so a couple of live streams happened during the week, and the first one I want to talk about is the Final Fantasy VII anniversary live stream. they started off with announcing that Final Fantasy VII Remake Integrate is going to be on Steam. That went on Steam a couple days ago. So for those of you that have a Steam account been wanting to play Final Fantasy VII Remake Integrate on there, go ahead and check it out. I mean, the game's just amazing. We've talked about this before. Also talked about some merchandise and some mobile games, updates on those. And then they talk about, and then they announce Crisis Core Final Fantasy VII Reunion that is coming this winter. So it could be December to February 2023. But KB and I were watching this, and it just looks absolutely amazing. I mean, this is a remaster that could kind of go towards a little bit more of a remake from what they look like they have done to it. I mean, KB, I'm going to let you share your thoughts now.
It definitely, like, if you're a fan of Final Fantasy, it definitely looks like a faithful recreation.
It'll be good.
It'll be good. Very good.
Oh yeah, definitely looks like it's gonna be really good. And then they end with Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. That's part 2 of the Final Fantasy VII remake, and there's gonna be one more part coming out. So we have 3 parts to that. Starts with Remake, Rebirth, and then a third one, and then Crisis Core Final Fantasy VII Reunion. If they keep with that theme, what do we think the third one could be called? First of all, if they keep with the re-theme. And I had one, I forgot to write it down, and I just completely lost it.
I'm just going to say this. The name contradicts itself. Final Fantasy. Like, how many Final Fantasies are you going to have? Like, right. I thought this was the final. I had a joke. It was a terrible joke, but you guys know what I'm saying. Honestly, I don't know what the name is going to be. I never dug in and played like a Final Fantasy game. So
yeah, maybe like Revitalize. I don't know.
Yeah, that could be it.
Bringing new life into it.
But to go to Rebirth, it just looks absolutely amazing. That trailer really looks absolutely amazing, and that is going to be coming out next winter. And this is what's just blows my mind about the Final Fantasy games. So this winter, Crisis Core, Final Fantasy 16 next year, and then next winter, Final Fantasy 7 Rebirth. I mean, they are really just pushing this Final Fantasy series, and I'm all for it. Final
Fantasy 7 was by far and above like a fan favorite. So I think this is them truly giving their all to the fans. So
yeah,
which we love to see. We should see it more often. Game companies.
No one in particular, just game companies and
yeah, you got to keep those brand deals open.
Okay, so let's move over to Capcom's live stream, and I'm just going to get this one out of the way. Exo Primal, it really just does not pique my interest. It just looks like multiplayer Dino Crisis. That's really all it looks like. Although the developers did say that this is not set in the Dino Crisis universe, but from what we saw, it's basic missions: protect the ship, find the leader. What was the other one? Oh God, what was the other one? Escort missions, basic stuff that you would see in a multiplayer game. So really, it just does not pique my interest. It doesn't pique a lot of people's interest because, when this game was announced, a lot of people were thinking, oh, it's going to be a new Dino Crisis game. And then when you see it, it's like, oh my God, what are you doing?
It did kind of remind me a little bit of like Overwatch, just in general, like Overwatch with dinosaurs.
So
just like how,
dinosaurs?
Huh?
So you're fighting dinosaurs?
Yeah, you fight dinosaurs.
So yeah. How's it not Dino Crisis then, Capcom?
Right.
It's Dino Crisis, but it's not Dino Crisis. That's what really frustrates gamers. So Exo Primal, I mean, I just can't get behind this game. It's just not one that piques my interest.
I mean, maybe they just wanted to give Dino Crisis a cool new name.
But again, this is not set in the Dino Crisis universe. They made that perfectly clear. It's not set in it. Street Fighter 6, I believe they said, got a little bit more of a look on them, and they said we're going to get a more extended look later this year.
It looks good too.
Yeah, I really do like how Street Fighter 6 looks, and it's on the RE engine. And Meliodas is just shaking his head. He's not a fan of how it looks. Yeah, I'm gonna let him just explain himself.
The art style is hideous. It looks like Comic Sans with some ultra HD anime with
That's some harsh words.
it looks terrible. I don't know what they're trying to do.
You can't please everybody. I mean, you can't please everybody.
Yeah.
A Street Fighter game hasn't looked good since Street Fighter 4. Street Fighter 6. Well, what was it? Street Fighter 5, whatever. It looked all right. This one, I don't know what they're doing with the art style. Hopefully you can switch between that style and the classic style. If not, I'm ew.
I will say that with all of the more like real to life graphics that have been coming out, I have found myself wanting to play games that have more of an artistic flair to it instead of just let's make this look as like you're in the real world even though you're in a video game. Like I miss like the chunky like PlayStation 2 graphics kind of and more like cartoony.
And now we move over to KB, who is going to talk about Monster Hunter Rise Sunbreak. So I'm going to let you take over. Go right ahead. Guys, this is going to be a long one because she is so excited about this.
I know. And there was also a lot. It was like a full 10 minutes of the showcase as well. I will try not to ramble too much. I make no promises. So first thing you'll need to know before you buy, you'll need 13 gigabytes of free space on your console. And you do also have to beat the 7-star quest, Serpent of the Goddess of Thunder, before you unlock this DLC. The DLC does drop on the 30th. So what we know from the showcase is we're getting the new jungle locale. It's coming back. It was kind of theorized because one of the characters in Rise does have a painting of the jungle starting area. So we know that's coming back. Espinas is a frontier monster that's debuting in this mainline series now. So that's really cool. He's not the first monster, I believe, to come back, but Frontier in particular is known for having these really off-the-wall monsters that do like crazy, like amazing things. So I'm really excited to see this. His design is also really cool. He kind of looks like thorns on a rose in a sense. Very spiky, very cool. We're getting crabs back. Getting new monster skeletons is always really fun. So we know we're getting Daimyo and Shogun Hermitar, which leaves subspecies of those up in the air. We know we're getting more free DLC after this. We always get more free DLC after paid DLC. So that'll be amazing. Astalos, another member of the Fated Four, is coming back. And it looks like the demo's already out, guys, and you can fight Astalos, and he's amazing. His wings look like he's based on a dragonfly, and his wings just look amazing in this new generation. His thunder and lightning also look just superb in this new engine. So if you weren't planning on playing the demo, you need to play the demo just to see Astalos, purely for that. So Pyre Rachna Kadachi is the new subspecies that we also just got showed off. Also amazing. It shoots fire down the webbing now of it. Rachna Kadachi is, for those who don't know, the fire spider. Looks so good. So good. So we also knew that Rampage quests weren't going to be happening post high rank. So we're getting into master rank. We know that's not coming in. We were told that it was a Kimura only issue because we defeated the monster that was causing the rampage. It's not coming back anymore, which is like kind of sad. I did enjoy the rampage mechanics a lot, but my theory is it's because this new monster, Gormagala, well, I shouldn't say new. Gormagala came, he was the flagship in 4 Ultimate, so kind of spoiler if you didn't play this game. He's bringing back the Frenzy virus. It is specifically linked to him. Basically, if a monster becomes infected with it, it either dies from it or it fights it off and becomes even stronger because of it. So I'm thinking that that's the new mechanic, that somehow they've revamped this frenzy virus, and we're probably going to get siege quests based around monsters that have been infected by the frenzy virus. So cool. I love it. So after all of this, I've told you guys before that we're getting more free stuff after. And the first free thing that we're getting comes in, I believe, August. So Lucian, Nargacuga, and the Forlorn Arena are the first free DLCs that are coming along. Lucian Nargacuga is really cool. One of my favorite subspecies is Lucian Nargacuga. Absolutely amazing. The Forlorn Arena is also, it looks cool just from what we've, like, the little we saw of it from the showcase. So that's going to be really cool. And then we didn't get specific dates, but we know that later in the fall, likely coming in October is my theory, or my guess, I should say. We're getting more rare species and subspecies. One of the shadows on it did kind of look like Mizutsune. The other one was like a flying monster, or the flying wyvern type, which there's a lot that's there. Unfortunately, I'm pretty sure it's probably going to be Azure Rathalos and Pink Rathian, because more than likely at end game we're going to get Gold Rathalos and Silver Rathian. Or no, swap that. Gold Rathian, Silver Rathalos. Still going to be really cool. You really can't have a monster game without those monsters. I know we see them in like every game since they've ever appeared, but it's just how it goes. They're classics. You got to have the classics in the game. And then in winter, we're getting even more monsters. I'm thinking that's going to come in December, and even more to come in 2023. We're probably going to get more free DLC with new monsters, new areas, new subspecies, new power-ups, all that kind of good stuff, up until I'd say August of 2023, or late fall of 2023. Definitely check it out. I'm a Monster Hunter nut, so like, my vote of confidence is always buy it, buy everything, and have fun. Happy hunting.
All right, and then they ended with Resident Evil stuff, and they officially announced the next gen versions of Resident Evil 7, Resident Evil 2, and 3 remakes. So if you've been looking forward to those are going to be coming out. Actually, I think they're already out now.
I played them. It's in a cruise frame rate. I haven't seen RTX or ray tracing on the RE2, but it is ray tracing on RE3 remake. I don't have 7, so I can't tell you, but it is ray tracing on that one. You can play 60 frames now on the Series S.
For the PS5 version, they included Duel-Sense features, including the haptic feedback and the adaptive triggers. And it's a free upgrade, and also 3D audio. So you've been waiting for those next gen versions. They're out right now. And then they showed the DLC for Resident Evil Village, which had been rumored for a long time, and now we finally see what that is. So there's multiple parts to that. There's a new story in Resident Evil Village that now the main character that is going to be Ethan's daughter. I believe that's taking place 18 years later after the game.
16, I believe.
16. Thank you.
Uh-huh.
And yeah, that looks scary and absolutely amazing.
Mm-hmm.
And then they added stuff to, what was it, the multiplayer for that game as well?
Mercenaries mode.
Yeah, the Mercenaries mode.
3 new chapters.
Mm-hmm. And you got new mercenaries. You can play as Lady Dimitrescu if you would like to be a 9-foot tall lady crushing zombies.
Mommy milkers. Yeah. I might try that.
Or you can be what's the other guy's name?
Wasn't Chris a part of that?
Chris Redfield, I believe you can play as well. But the shaggy guy that's from the trailer.
With the telekinesis powers. I don't know what you're talking about.
Heisenberg.
Yeah.
He's back.
Not only that, you can play it in third person now.
True. They gave
that's right. They included third person
treatment. Yeah.
It should have been third person from the jump. RE7, but
well, some people do prefer playing first first person. So
Yeah, I mean, it's a preference thing. That's all it is.
yeah.
But that's really good. It's a throwback to the original games. And I mean, it's not like they abandoned that. I mean, we still had third person from the 2 and 3 remakes. So, you know what, people did like playing in third person, but people are still suckers with the classics. So,
Well, it was a concept that we're going to let you play RE2 remake in first person. So I guess scrapped it and put it in RE7.
yeah. All right. And then we got the big news, the one that everybody's been waiting for, Resident Evil 4 Remake. And oh my God, you know, I had talked about this in the past and I said I was not a fan of this. Well, now I'm all behind it because the game just looks darker, it looks scarier, and it just looks a whole lot better. Now, to me, I still think Resident Evil 4, the original version, I think that still looks good today. I think it still holds up today. But this, oh my God, they are just doing what they did with 2 and 3 remakes. And I mean, Resident Evil 4 is considered one of the greatest video games of all time. I mean, this looks like it could make it even better.
My only concern with this is I hope they don't go RE3 remake and half-ass it, because they did that with RE3 remake.
Yeah.
And they cut so much content. So hopefully they give it the RE2 treatment and just give us everything.
Yeah, definitely.
So
That's what I heard about the Resident Evil 3 remake. I mean, Resident Evil 2 remake, that was, everybody just loved that. And then Resident Evil 3, that had some controversy behind it. But I mean, you can't screw this one up. You cannot screw up Resident Evil 4. This is the one where a lot of people will say it's the best in the series. And again, people have it on like the best video games of all time. We actually do know who did the voice or the face capture for the characters. Those have been revealed. Hopefully they fix a little bit of Ashley's character, because she was the main complaint in this game. Even though everybody loved it, not a lot of people liked Ashley's character. So maybe they can improve that a little bit. Hopefully.
Yeah. Like if you're gonna make a remake, fix the problems of the past while you're at it. You don't want to annoy your players all over again just with better graphics this time around.
What are you guys on about? Ashley was the best character in the game.
He said sarcastically. All right, moving on from the live streams. Blizzard has announced that Overwatch 2 is not going to include loot boxes, which, okay, that's a good thing to hear.
Yeah.
Because we all remember what happened a few years ago when EA got into a lot of trouble with that for Battlefront 2. And if they're not going to include it with Overwatch 2, that's a good thing.
Right.
And I know a lot of
microtransactions are just typically not a good idea. And I'm pretty sure in some countries they were even thinking about banning like loot boxes and those kind of systems altogether, because it's basically gambling.
Yeah, and don't forget, EA had to go to court for that, for what they did. Yeah, I don't think anybody's going to want a repeat of that. Now, I know some people are thinking, well, they can always go against that and they can always put them in later after saying that, but it would not be a good look for them. And I know a lot of people are going to say Crash Nitro Field, but the difference is they never really said there wasn't going to be any microtransactions in the game. That was just a misquote by somebody. But this, they came out and say there's not going to be any loot boxes, which is good to hear. And hopefully Overwatch 2 is as good as the first one was. Meliodas, you got anything you want to add to this?
Played it. Not my cup of tea.
Okay. Talked about live streams. There was one other one that happened this week. It was the Assassin's Creed anniversary live stream. This is the 15th year of Assassin's Creed. And they announced some things. They announced the second year DLC that's coming to Odyssey. They also announced Origins is getting a next-gen upgrade. But then they end by saying that the future of Assassin's Creed is going to be announced in September. That tells me they're going to announce the new game in September. I mean, I don't know what else that could be.
A modern day Assassin's Creed.
Ooh, how would you do that? That would be interesting if they did do that.
They could.
I mean, they could.
Yeah.
I mean, where else they're
It
going
would
to
be
go?
difficult, but they could.
What haven't they done yet? They haven't done what? Japan, China. I mean,
Japan, China.
they did, but it wasn't like a full-fledged.
Was it? Did
They
they?
did.
It
They
was
did.
the Assassin's Creed like Chronicle series where they did like the
Yeah.
3 different countries, but
Mm.
they weren't
Like
but
a
they weren't
full-
like mainline games or anything.
Yeah.
But yeah, they haven't done that.
They could go like further into Africa because they've only done
Maybe.
Egypt.
Yeah, that's true.
they
There's some
could.
really great culture further in the continent.
I think once they said that they wouldn't go as close to modern days as the Civil War, I think. So
Hmm.
They
So
kind of did that with 3, wasn't that the Civil War?
no, that was the Revolutionary War.
revolutionary.
Yeah, that was
Okay.
revolutionary.
They could go to where else? They haven't done Russia yet. I
That
think
was
that
part of the that was part of the Chronicles too. That was part of Chronicles too. But again, those
True.
were not mainline games, so they could
I
go
don't-
back to
Yeah.
Russia. Yeah, there's
I don't think they
definitely-
want to do Russia now.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, no, not with
Not right now.
Not right now.
Oh, they did
But
not.
there is still a lot that they could do, and really, a lot of people just cannot wait to see what they do. And
Mhm.
again, we're just speculating at this point, but they said the future of Assassin's Creed coming in September. So to me, that means new game.
They did Pirate,
Alright.
they did Viking, they did. I don't know what else they can do.
All right, moving on. We have a rumor from Tom Henderson. Now, normally we don't cover rumors on here. We wait for the official word, but this one I think we can talk about because this one is pretty much going to be announced soon. So Tom Henderson, who is a known leaker in the video game industry, he spoke about Sony working on a PS5 Pro controller. And yeah, that makes a whole lot of sense with what they've been doing with the Duel-Sense. And oh man, once they announce that, people are going to go nuts with that because a lot of people just love the Duel-Sense controller. I mean, Meliodas and I both had PlayStation 5s, and we both have used the PlayStation 5 Duel-Sense, and I absolutely love the controller. I really do. And getting a pro controller, that would be absolutely amazing. What do you guys think on this?
Scuff controller, but their own brand. So like the Microsoft, what is it? The Microsoft Pro controller, Xbox, Microsoft Elite controller. Yeah, they
Yeah.
could do it. We're pretty good.
KB, what did you think on this? What do you think on this?
I mean, it's a controller.
I probably won't buy it. It's like I ain't buy the
Yeah.
the Xbox
Yeah, I don't-
Elite controller.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think I will either, but I just know people are going to go nuts with this. And
Yeah.
for those of you that don't know, KB still does not have a PlayStation 5 yet, so she has not gotten her hands on the Dual-Sense just yet.
I've heard good things.
He
Yeah.
has a PlayStation 5 in spirit. Okay, guys.
All right, moving on. So we've talked about this in the past where multiple people have come out and basically have given their opinions on day-and-day releases like what Game Pass does. And a new one has entered the fray. That's Take-Two CEO. And Take-Two, as a lot of people know, that's the company that makes the GTA games. They're the parent company of Rockstar. And pretty much their CEO has pretty much agreed with PlayStation's stance on having brand new AAA games being released day and day with subscription services. And really, this is not a shock because, look, we talked about this before, but really the only ones that can afford to do that is Microsoft. I mean, let's all agree on that.
Right.
I mean, again, Nintendo and Sony make most of their money off of the video game market. Microsoft, they are mainly a tech company
Mhm.
that just happens to also make video game consoles and video games themselves. I mean, that's the whole point. And it's still, people do not understand that. And guys, go ahead and jump in whenever you feel like it.
Sorry, I'm
Like-
chewing Mike and Ike's. Yeah, Sony doesn't make their. I mean, they make their money from the game sales mostly.
Yeah. I mean,
So-
let's face it, the video game market is why Sony has gotten as big as it has and why it's been able to open other divisions in the company.
Microsoft has what cloud,
The
Microsoft-
Macintosh computers.
internet, all that good stuff. So they're making a good income through other stuff. And they actually, Microsoft surprisingly said they're actually losing money with gaming. So they losing money.
I mean, there's a reason they don't make their financial reports public anymore with the video game market. And you just have to think, how much longer can Game Pass continue to do this? Because people are able to cheat Game Pass where you only pay $1. I'm not kidding on that.
Wow.
There's a way to do that. That's just the case.
You win some, you lose some.
Yeah. Speaking of Microsoft, during their showcase, they actually put in a 48-hour embargo on companies releasing information of the PlayStation version of their games. Mm-hmm. So this was mainly for the Persona games and Wulong, Fallen Dynasty. Okay, I heard about this and I'm like, what? Just what? That kind of sounds a little crazy. But, I do get it from Microsoft's point of view. They announced it at their show.
Yeah.
And
Sony does, it makes sense for Sony and Microsoft to do that. I'm not going to announce a game at my show and say coming in as PlayStation at the bottom, right next to my showcase.
Yeah, and I don't know if Sony ever does like a 48-hour embargo on stuff like that. But
48 hours is too, I can see after the show.
It does it really make that much of a difference?
No, they don't even have to do that. You just don't have to show that it's coming to PlayStation on your show.
Yeah. Yeah, again, PlayStation has done the same thing, but to put an actual embargo on it, I don't know if we've ever heard of that before, or if they do, they keep it secret.
Yeah, I can't think of anything.
But for those that are complaining about Microsoft about this, don't, because they have every right to do whatever they want with games that are being announced on their showcase. Again, it's not going to matter. It just depends on which system you prefer with games like this. You're going to find out eventually if a game's coming to your console or not.
Right.
Cool it.
All right, one last thing, and this one I also found pretty interesting. So Hideo Kojima's cloud-based game for Microsoft was officially revealed at the Microsoft showcase, and apparently a lot of PlayStation gamers got really nervous that he was jumping shift to Xbox. Well, Kojima Productions released this on Twitter, where they released a statement assuring PlayStation gamers that they still have a good partnership with Sony and will continue to work with them. And there are some people that are just not happy about this. And my opinion on this, yes, I am a PlayStation guy, but what's wrong with Hideo Kojima and Kojima Productions working with both PlayStation and Microsoft?
Mm-hmm.
He's working on 2 games. We know he's working on 2 games. One is with Xbox, another's with Sony. That is probably Death Stranding 2. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing really wrong with that. And I don't know. I don't know. But
he's a free man. He can do what he wants.
Exactly. And I do understand Hideo Kojima is pretty much maybe one of the biggest, not maybe, he is one of the biggest names in the gaming industry with everything that he's done over the years. But still, I don't know why PlayStation gamers got nervous, because that was rumored for a long time that he was working on 2 games, one for Sony, one for Xbox. I don't know. What do you guys think on this?
Gamers are crybabies. That's the short gist.
He's his own person. He needs to make decisions for himself.
Yeah, and I'm interested to see what this cloud-based game for Xbox is going to look like. All right, guys, that was the gaming news for this week. As always, I'm Diggs Gaming.
KB Hunting.
It's been your boy, Sir Meliodas.
We'll see you guys next time.
See ya.
Bye.